Going live here. Sylvia is serial writing. This is the serial writing podcast that I have, where I interview authors who are doing live storytelling on their various platforms. If you don't know who I am, then you can definitely look me up, or I'm Sylvia Hubbard. I'm an author of over 60 books, and I'm with Motown Writers Network, and this is my way of questioning authors about their live books that they are doing on their platforms as I build up to my live book that I'll be doing in September, starting September 1st, called Her Substitute Husband, His Brothers. And I have a list of authors that I'm doing, and I'm actually getting my notes out to talk about it. And I'm waiting for Antwaine to join us, because we'll be doing an interview with him. My tech tank thing is, so we're waiting. Yes, we're waiting for Antwaine to join. Okay, so I'm trying to get him in. This better work, because, okay, I see you. I'm waving back. And now, let me see, can I invite you? It should be easy to invite you. Oh my God. Come on. Come on. I see you and I can invite you. It usually just lets me invite you. You know, this is not my day. Usually I just schedule these, but this is harder if you don't schedule them. Okay, oh, I know. Suggest it. Okay, look at me. Okay, let me see if that works. I think I got it. I'm hitting the invite. And hopefully it lets you. Okay, let me try it again. Suggest it. Don't go anywhere, Antwaine, because I see you. And, okay, there it is. So I'm letting it feed out first, because I see you, and hit the invite. I am getting the invite screen, and I'm tapping it so you can come in. Let's see if it works. So you should be getting an invite in, and let's see if that brings you in. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Come on, honey. Work. I know. Lives who can see. So we're going to wait for a second. We are trying to get Antwaine in to join us. And I see it. But it's not letting me. I can invite Paperback and Pounds, but it will not let me invite Antwaine. I can see like Paperback and Pound, yours is like highlighted, but Antwaine, yours isn't for some reason. Do you have can you see if you can invite yourself to me, or do you have like a thing on your Instagram so you can't do it under there? I'm trying again. Yes, it is letting me invite Paperback and Pound, but it's not letting me invite you. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. I was trying very hard to invite you, but it is not letting me invite you under your thing. It's like saying you can't get invited to it. I have no idea. Sometimes it gives you the invitation if you want to. Like when I join other people's lives, it sometimes say it, unless you have something on your profile that says you can't do it. Oh, this is very disheartening. Because I really wanted to do this interview. Oh, we might have to reschedule this for another day. I really wanted to talk to you about serial writing, but it's not letting me, and because I usually request to be in your live view. Okay.
Look at you. Let's see if it brings you in. Let's see. I sent the request, and there you go. Yes. Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
good. Okay, good. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Okay,
Jesus, you
so
got me all hot here.
okay, so I will say everything has been my problem. I mean, my fault, I should say. Um, I
Oh,
am.
that's okay.
It look so when you were trying to explain to me how to come in live,
Uh-huh.
I was I was on a major delay because I was on my computer. I'm on my laptop, and it I didn't see anything about a request. Nothing about a request. So I got on my phone. I'm on my phone now, and what you were saying on your phone on my phone was 10 minutes ahead of what you were
Oh
saying
my
on the computer.
God.
So apparently you were about to get ready to log out, and right before I got on here, and I didn't even hear it on my computer yet.
Oh my
But I
God,
don't know.
that's
I
terrible.
don't know if that. I don't know if that had anything to do because, like I told you in the messages, I'm in Philippines, so I don't know if that had anything to
Okay.
do with it, why I couldn't log in on my computer. But it's working on my phone.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we finally got that because I was stressing. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? What do
Yes,
I was just gonna talk about my book and be like, okay, well, I guess this is what we're talking about.
yeah.
And I don't
I
like to talk about
apologize.
myself, so I get real nervous when I talk about myself. So I was like, I wanted to talk to you. So I was like, ugh. So if you don't know, if you didn't see the first one, what I do is I want to go through and interview a lot of authors that are doing serials on their platforms. So we'll be talking about just going talkie back and forth is, about your serial, what platform you use, your marketing techniques, and just your writing techniques and so forth. So, yeah, that's pretty much what we'll be doing. So, we're going to start off first and let's introduce you.
Okay. So, so I am Antwaine Floyd Sr. I am an author of crime fiction novels. I've been writing since 2009.
Yeah.
I released my first book in 2009. It was called Crew Love. That was more of a urban fiction type of book.
Hmm. Right.
Um, I released a few more after that. Then I felt like that lane was very crowded. So I
Hmm.
switched to writing detective novels. So that's what I write now. I write crime
Okay.
fiction, detective
Hmm.
novels, and that's
Okay.
where I'm at now.
So, how many books in all do you have?
Altogether, I have
Hmm.
22 novels and ebooks.
That's cool. Let everybody
Yeah.
know where your website is so then they can kind of check you
Oh yeah.
out while we're
I,
talking.
I am at www.crimefictionmedia.com. You can find me there.
Okay. So let's go into like what you're doing now. So you have a current serial novel available. Um, Let everybody know what it's about and how they can subscribe to it.
So my serial novel right now, it is um I'm sorry. It is the Black Love Detective series.
Hmm.
Um it's a right now it is a I'm at book 7, and
Oh, cool.
it's about this detective in Chicago. His name is Black Love.
Hmm.
He started off as a district attorney, and later on transitioned into a private detective. And each week, well, not each week, I wish it was each week, but he each book he tackles a different case. So I like to fashion
Hmm.
myself in my own mind. I like to fashion
Right.
myself after authors like Walter Mosley or even like Eric Jerome Dickey as far as the characters.
Uh-huh.
I like to try to be character driven, or
Right.
Chester Hines. So it's
Okay.
gonna be. Yeah, so it's gonna be like very uh uh black folk oriented characters, you know. So that's what I
Yeah.
like. I love black stories.
So, well, we'll probably get into, because I was about to ask like a technical question, but I don't want to get it because I get lost in the sauce. So can they read, like, can the readers go back and read 1 through 6 currently and then jump into the book 7?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So they can just check that out on your website. So, and for the book that you're in right now, how many episodes have already released so they know like how much work they have to do to catch up?
Um. Uh. I don't know. I I
And we'll talk about the technicality, how you set everything up. So yeah, go ahead and explain, how do you set it up so then the readers can understand where they can jump in at.
so I like to say, and I know I just said it, so I don't want to contradict myself, but I like to
No.
say, start at the beginning. You know. So
Okay, that's
start at the beginning.
understandable. Okay,
Yeah,
so they kind of
yeah,
like
yeah.
weave throughout. It's an overall story, but they kind of weave throughout, and you should just start at book 1 and then catch up pretty much.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they can go to your
But
website to pretty much start there.
yes, but if you don't want to start with book one, you don't have to. You don't have to.
So let us know then, how can we start where you are? Like if they just want to jump in right now, would they just sign up for your email and then start receiving it?
Oh yes, or you can go over to my Substack. I'm on Substack. You can get me over there. Everything is pretty much the same. If you put my name, Antwaine Floyd Sr, then you'll find
Mhm.
me. No matter what it
Okay.
is. No matter
And
what it is. My
they can
web.
go to your Instagram right now and then just
Yes,
go over and jump over into the Substack and start going. Okay, well
yes.
that's cool. So let's
Hmm.
first get into the writing technicalities because, well, let me tell you about in case anybody don't know, I am doing I've been doing serial writing. Well, let's start with the writing part. I've been writing since 2000, so right now I have over 60 books available. And I've been doing serial writing since about 2009, when I started. I started doing erotic kind of writing because I was scared to publish it. So I jumped into this erotic group, and then they were like, "Oh my God, this story is amazing!" And then it took over the group. It was kind of like one of those Yahoo discussion groups, remember?
Yeah,
And
I
then
remember
it
that.
took over the group, and the moderator asked me to, could you take this off the group because it's taking up the whole group? So then I started doing it on my website, and everybody followed over and just kept reading the story. And then they were like, okay, when is the next story? When is the next story? And so they just kept asking, and
Hmm.
I just kept just writing because I was scared to put out like erotic stuff. And then the more I did it on my website, the darker I got.
You can
So
just be yourself.
I could just be myself. I was like, wow, y'all don't care that I write about this, and give us some more. So it was like, yeah. So I started doing that, and so now I think I've done maybe over almost 20 live stories on my blog. Um, and that's where you can go find it. My current one is, I'm about to start a new one in September 1st, and it's going to be called, so I am a dark romance but suspense writer. So somebody's going to fall in love and somebody's going to die. Not necessarily in that order, but it will be a HEA. It's just going to be a lot of killing between it. So
Hmm.
I start the next book in my new serial writing. It's going to be September 1st, and that will be called Her Substitute Husband, His Brothers. So yeah,
Mm,
that's
mm.
that's, that's a mouthful. So let's get into the technicalities of writing. So when you start your stories, as you're starting the new phase of your stories, are you a pantser or a plotter? So do you map out these stories, or do they just, okay, whatever I'm writing today is whatever I'm writing today?
No, I like to. So, how does it work for me? So, the way it works for me is with an idea. So, I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's how it works for everybody. But what I mean by that is, I usually have to have either a title pops in my head
Mm-hmm.
or a character.
Okay.
A
Okay.
character's name, a character's name, and who the character is pops in my head, and whichever one it is, I think about the other. So if I think of a title first, then I think of
Mm-hmm.
the character for that title. If I think of the character
Okay.
first, then I think of a title for that character's book. I can't. The way my mind is wired, I can't move forward first until I have those two things, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
and then I need to have what's going to happen at the end. I have to know what's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen at the end before I can write anything.
Okay.
Then,
Well, that's good.
I,
You go.
yeah, then I semi plan or plot. I don't
Mm-hmm.
write the entire plot out. I used to do that when I first started writing. I went deep into it. I
Right.
need to know how tall they were, their favorite color, their favorite food. I don't do all of that stuff anymore. I kind of have a loose idea about what I want to
Mm-hmm.
happen, and I jot down notes from there. I don't go into
Mm-hmm.
depth. I just jot down little notes, shorthand
Right.
notes, and then I write from that. And as I write, more ideas develop.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my
I'm.
system.
I'm. Yeah. I kind of do the same thing now. What I do is like, I'll have like yeah, I already kind of know the character, the main two protagonists, and I really don't start writing until I get both protagonists like kind of familiar, like, a friend at work or something like that. So I know like who you are, what you are, and what do you need. And that's pretty much,
Hmm.
I kind of figure out what do you need, because that kind of tells me how the book is going to end. Like I have to fulfill your needs. And once I do that, then I can start, wrapping everything up. Um, After that, because yeah, I call myself a plantser. So I don't really, like you said, I don't do a detail. I've never done a detail outline, and people are shocked that I can't, because if I do, I won't write the book, because I know what's gonna happen. Like, why should I
Hmm.
write the book? It's not as exciting. It's kind of like opening
Hmm.
up the birthday present before you get your birthday, and then you're like, well, why even celebrate a birthday if I already know what I'm gonna get?
See, my thing was, if I wrote everything down, I would want to try to
Hmm.
put it all into the book. So,
Right,
that's why I
right.
stopped doing it. Like nobody
And
cares about his his uh his hangnail he got when he was 12 years old.
right, yeah. So you gotta,
Yeah.
yeah, it helps you curtail that. But then, like, so what I do is like, I'll get now I get my Kindle Scribe, and like I'll just make a sentence about, okay, maybe a scene I thought of, or how I would like to get to her need, or how I can get to his need, and just like a little thing. So each page becomes like maybe a chapter of that, and then I'll send that to myself, and that becomes, because it'll, even though I'm writing it out, it'll turn it into text, and then I can send that to myself, and then basically that's when I'm typing, I'm kind of like looking at that little that's not even the outline, it's just like 7 sentences maybe, where I'm just like, okay, yeah, I got to get to this, okay, now I got to get to this. So it's kind of like following a map, and I get to this point, then I get to this point. So,
I
and
have a
like you
question
said,
for
yeah,
you.
I could find a hangnail story would be over here, and I'd be like, oh, can I go over there? I'm like, oh no, I gotta stay over here.
I have a
Go
question for
ahead.
you.
What's your question? Uh-huh.
And it's I guess it's my being nosy type of personality side of my personality.
Uh-huh.
Um, you said that you like to find out what their needs are first, correct?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it popped in my mind like, I wonder why she focuses on their needs versus the obstacles.
Well, because I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to women, when we get into a situation, we're always in the back of our mind, how do I need this in my life? How is this going to help me in my life? And kind of like my dad always said, you should be earning or learning. You should be earning or learning. So once I figure out what she needs, then whatever obstacles come up in her way, she's going to choose that need before she desires that want. It's always in women. And what I try to do, the obstacles are really her desires that are getting in the way.
Okay. All right,
So
that makes
then it
sense.
comes to a point, do you sacrifice what you really need in order to get what you want? And then what I do as the writer in the background, once you give in to what I want you to do, I will supply what you really need. See, it's kind of like a omnipresence power where and the reader is going like, okay, yeah, she getting it, she getting all that she desires, and oh my god, this is so amazing, and blah blah blah. But then she's like smack in the face, girl, you know you need this, you know. So then who do you choose? What do you choose? Which path is she going to choose? And that gives the reader kind of like a tangent of saying, I don't even know what to choose because I like what she likes, but I know what she needs. And but I made a promise in the beginning to give her what she needs, which is the promise I made to the reader, and they have to decide, well, what's going to happen at the end. So, and all the
See,
time I'm just figuring out, like,
see, when you said
I'm
that,
going to get.
eh, see, when you say that, that says more about me than myself. This says more about
Uh-huh.
myself than it does about you. But when you said what you said, I supplied them. What did you say? I supplied them. No, once they give up their desires, I supply them with what they need.
Right.
How
It's
come the
kind of like
first
giving
thing?
in to me.
How come the first thing that popped in my mind was, oh, spoken like a real pimp.
Probably. I'm some weird narcissist. Like, I control you. You do what I say. You want this money? You want this? Like, I don't know why, and that's horrible to do that. I guess because as a mom, you have little control over like your world. So I built these characters so I could have control over them. So it's just, yeah, it's some horrible narcissist tendencies deep inside of me. So,
But it worked.
but
It
yeah, it
worked.
works out in the story where you have so much control, and then I just love the reactions that the readers get because they're into it, but they don't know what I'm like secretly planning in the background. I'm always
Hmm.
plotting and planning something horrible. The fact, I know that's terrible. Oh Jesus, that's why I don't have no friends. That's why I don't have no friends. So yes, okay, so let's go into your writing technique. So as you're writing, let's talk about setups. How long do you make your chapters? Are you even thinking about that? Or are you taking feedback as you write from the readers? And how do you work with that?
So when I write, I do not have a set length for a chapter. I
Mm-hmm.
just write until I feel like the chapter is done. So
Mm-hmm.
it might be very lengthy, or it might be a paragraph. I've done a chapter where it's only been a paragraph, and I tend to not take feedback from readers until it's actually 100% done. Then because
Okay.
I have done that. I like to do that because readers come from a point of view that I may not have thought of, and I might
Mm-hmm.
take their suggestions and put it into that character's backstory
Okay.
in
Okay.
another book.
Okay.
In another book. In
Okay.
another book. So that's what I
Okay.
do. I cheat a little bit.
That is that is a cheat move. Let
Yeah.
me see. For me, for my chapters, I've realized over the years, I don't like fatigue. So I know that chapters that readers usually try to get fatigued about the 3,000. So I usually don't go over 3,000. In that regards, I try to keep it that amount because I want them to get, if I'm thinking about their day, and a lot of times I'm getting people, I call them sneak readers, where I'll post during the day. So I know I'm going to post usually in the morning. Sorry about the birds. We're out at camp.
It's okay. It's all right.
I can't tell them to shut up. But
It's all good.
but I'll post during the day. So I know a lot of times they're sneaking their phones in the bathroom. So I'm thinking about a 15-minute break where they just want to grab their phones and go. So I try to do like a 15-minute, which is about 3,000 words. If you're a pretty prolific reader, you can get through that. So I
That's
try to
smart.
I try to I try to write towards that, and then usually when I'm in the book itself, once we begin, I try to put a lot of chapters out. So I usually try 3 times a week, um, 3 chapters a week. Literally, it's 3 chapters a week. When I am writing itself, I'm like a scene writer, so I'll write to the scene. So if I'm in, we're visiting the nursing home, and I need to get some information from one of the patients, I need to get that scene down on paper. So that's how I am. I'm a scene writer. I don't really look at my word count until then. Then once I do all the scenes that needs to go into this thing, or I'm tired of this scene, or okay, this plot point is over with, that's when I'll go back and say, okay, then I'll do this scene in the nursing home, and then as soon as she finds out okay, who was doing all this mess, and the old woman says such and such, I'll end the scene right there, leave it on the cliffhanger, and then you have to, so I don't care how long that scene is, if I can get that whole thing 3,000, yeah, almost 3,000 words, I'm cutting it at a cliffhanger. So that's how I kind of do it. Does that
Yeah, yeah.
sound weird?
No, not at all. It actually sounds very strategic. And one thing I will say, the one thing that I do that you do is I do leave my chapters on a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
I try to do that because I do want you to come back, and I'll do and I'm very maniacally strategic. 'Cause I'll do, like, since I know I'm doing 3 chapters that week, I'll set it up where, okay, it's a small cliffhanger. Oh yeah, you just discovered he likes this. Oh, and this is his kink. Okay, and that's the second chapter I'm releasing. But then we get into the bedroom on a Friday, and oops, that's the end of the chapter. you know, you gotta wait. So I'm like maniacal in terms
So
of, like, okay,
so you don't release every day?
I tried I used to, but it got to the point where, for my peace of mind, for my peace of mind, and to make sure the story, I can get back to the story to make it flow better for the readers, um, and control the story a lot more, where I like to stay at least about 6 chapters ahead of where the reader I'm releasing. So that way,
Hmm.
if I'm in there and then I'm like, oh my God, I need a red herring because where I'm going won't make any sense. So I need to jump back to 3 chapters and make sure it's there. So and then I used to try to do it every day, but it got exhausting and frustrating more for me. And then the stress would come, and like, oh my God, they're catching up to me. Oh my God. And then I then I get stuck and then don't want to write.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how do you do it? How do you do your releases?
My releases, I do them once a week. I do them every Monday.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I write it out, um, set it up for automatic delivery, for
Mhm.
every Monday, every post. I mean, automatic post every Monday, and
Right.
during the week, I will usually post little snippets of what I wrote or
Mhm.
reminders,
Oh,
so
that's
people
cool.
can. Yeah, so that's how I do it. Because just like
That's
you said,
cool.
I've tried to do that the way you're talking, the way you spoke before, as far as trying to do something
Mhm.
every day. And
Right.
yes, people read a lot faster than you write.
Right. So you got to kind of train them to like,
Yeah,
look, don't be knocking at my door. Tell me some. I need
yeah,
another chapter. And I even put
yeah,
like rules at the beginning, like if you see me out in public, don't ask me what the next chapter is gonna be about. Don't. We don't talk about the story in public. I'm not telling you what's happening. I don't even know what's happening. So
hmm,
yeah, I had to kind of pace myself. And it's not even, to keep it from them. It's because I want to give you a great story but I don't want to just put it out there and it just gets disoriented in terms of it looks like somebody just threw it up on paper. And I want to give them some
right,
kind of quality while all the time like edutating them. I guess that would be a good word borrowed from Beverly Jenkins. It's like you want to do the edutainment, but you want it to be nicely laid out for them in terms of the story, because a lot of people don't understand when it comes, especially to suspense and thrillers. There's so much backstory. There's so much front story. There's so much other stuff, technical stuff that you have to throw into the story in order for it to make sense. In terms of when you're going to kill the characters or when you're plotting, the villain is coming in and doing things and messing things up. The madness has to make sense. So you can't
hmm,
just put it out there. And then for me, I'm wrapping a romance around all this mess.
hmm. You got to add in
So it's not.
misdirection.
Right? And you got to add in, yep, you have to add the red herrings. You have to add
Hmm.
the what do you call it? Oh my God, the person that tells the whole story,
The
and then gives
narrator.
all the warnings. Well,
Oh
no,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah,
the
yeah,
harbinger. The
yeah. I know
harbinger
what you
has to
mean.
come
Yeah,
in and,
yeah.
either give,
Hmm.
yeah, like I said, either misdirection or tell them exactly where to go, but nobody listens to them because they're the crazy
Hmm.
fool.
Yeah, yeah.
So it takes a lot, especially for crime and suspense and thrillers. It's a lot of things that go into that, and then the research behind all of that, because you want to give them, the city you're using becomes the character, the weapons you got to use become part of the plot. It just can't be any. If you're killing somebody, you really got to research that. It's not like, okay, yeah,
Hmm.
I'll just use poison. Well, what poison? Because it's millions of poisons. And are
Do
you
you,
gonna poison them? Go ahead.
when you do your research on that type of stuff, do you really go deep down the rabbit hole?
I do. And it's horrible because my dad is a chemist. So I know he's gonna check me on it. So then I have to know. Because then I'll be like, look, Daddy, I'm writing about a DNA scientist. Oh, what do they do? Well, she does just this. Well, explain to me. And I was like, so I know I got to be on my, 10 toes down in it,
Yeah,
because he's going to question me about, well, how do you know this is going to make sense and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, so I have to be 10 toes down in my research when I'm doing stuff, because if my dad knows I'm talking about it, then I got to represent, because I'm Lim
yeah.
Hubbard's daughter.
I don't blame him. He like, you won't be out there embarrassing me.
Right. I got my PhD, girl. You better. So yeah, I tried it, and I love science. He got me to a point where I do love science. It's just that I want to be able to, like I said, represent. I want to be able to say, hey, Dad, I did this. I rocked this thing. So I do. I get, and a lot of times, especially before I even get into the story, I kind of already know the science or the chemical or the weapon I'm going to already use, and it'll be either I already know the suspense and everything, and then I know the kink for the romance. So that kind of helps me out in terms of, okay, Sylvia, I can take it from there. And I'll usually have like a research page for the book. Like I know my research. Like we in this.
You
We
know,
we did.
talking about that with your dad, there's
Mm-hmm.
this Facebook group I'm a part of. I can't remember the
Right.
name of it exactly. It's called like trauma
Uh-huh.
something. I can't remember the trauma something. I can't
Oh, you
remember.
gotta send me
But
a link because that sounds
I'm gonna
good.
send it to you. So the whole website is designed for writers. Well, not the website, but
Okay.
the club, the
Mm-hmm.
Facebook group is designed for writers. It has medical professionals in there that
Oh.
give you um the stuff that you're talking about. So like if you want to try to poison somebody or kill somebody or whatever, they tell you
Oh,
it's for writers. They tell you the things that does what in that group. I haven't
I would
used it.
love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send
Mm-hmm.
it to you. I've never used
Oh,
it, but
please.
I've just gone in there and looked through it a little bit. But that's what it's
I
for.
love it. I
Yeah,
I I love like finding things out and especially finding new ways. And that's like I know I'm gonna get into another poison book soon because I haven't poisoned anybody in a long time. So I'm just like, oh, I need to get into that. So yeah, please send that to me. That's a great research tool. And when we
yeah,
do the
yeah,
live, I can when I pull this and put it up on YouTube, I can put that link in there so thank you for sharing that because yeah, a lot of
yeah.
people need to know. And you know what? I love like I don't know if you know the forensic books that they have out on YouTube. I am in love with all the forensic books. Like they have a whole series. It's called the Who Done It
I've
series.
never heard of it.
Oh my God, you would love it. It tells you like weapons. It has a whodunit on weapons. So any weapon you thought you used, they'll tell you how much force you need to like what kind of knife you can use and how much force you need and when you
Yeah,
stab them in
I need.
some place, how much blood comes out.
Yeah, I need that
I'm
one too.
like, this
Then I need
is
that.
amazing. And then they have this encyclopedia of poison. Chef's kiss. Chef's like, literally chef's kiss. Like, oh my God, I love this book. It's like I read it like nighttime bedroom read. Like, oh, this is so good.
So all of that is
But yeah,
on YouTube.
on Amazon. Look on the Who Done It. Look up Amazon and then look on Who Done It series. It's a Who Done It
Okay.
series, and it's a whole bunch of them. They don't produce them anymore, but buy you can buy the old ones still because I had a fire, so I had to replace them all. So you can buy them
Mm.
like really cheap because hardly anybody knows about them anymore. But they literally go into like um, crime investigators, what they do, and what power they have. They get really deep into that. They go into weapons. They go into forensics on a crime scene. So yeah, it gets into a lot of stuff. So and they're quick reads so you can just absorb the knowledge and you feel like when Kiana was like I know kung fu you'd be like oh my god I know
Okay.
poisons I know you're like let's go
Okay. I'm gonna still send you the link, but I just looked it up. It's called trauma fiction.
okay okay
Yeah,
good
yeah. Trauma
thank you
fiction, no
yes
doubt.
still send me the
Yeah,
links because I can put it
yeah,
into our YouTube description and stuff like that so that
yeah,
is so
yeah.
crazy okay. So going through, so we did research, writing. So now let's get into the platform. The platform you use is Substack. So tell
Mhm.
us how you use it and why you use it, and let's go from there.
Um, I use it because when I first discovered it, I haven't been on there that long, but when I first
Hmm.
discovered it, um, it looked like an app to me, like your own personal app. So that's what drew it
Oh,
to me.
okay.
Like
Hmm.
your own page looks like your own personal app. So that's what drew it to me. And then
Okay.
once I started engaging a little bit, I
Mm-hmm.
saw that it seems, I don't know if it's the algorithm, but it seems like everyone is really about writing and supporting one another. So,
Okay.
so I don't know if it's just the people that I came across, but that's why I use that platform, and
Mm-hmm.
I get actual engagement. People
Okay.
coming back and telling me what they think about it. So that's why I chose that platform. And like I said, I just have it set up for every Monday, and people, it just goes out there, and people oh, and I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. People get paid off of Substack. So
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard of
so
that. Yeah.
yeah, so right now I looked at this on research, and I know it's always
Mm-hmm.
different for other people, but they say some people have made millions of dollars off of selling their story off of Substack. And I haven't tried it yet. Right now I just have my stories set up for free. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually I'm gonna start doing it in tiers and charging for different stories. But yeah, that's why I use Substack.
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
So I do use WordPress. I have it on the WordPress.com platform where I send out a blog. So I can schedule my blogs out. That's how I can schedule it every 3 days out. What people do for me is that they can come into my website, which is the WordPress.com, SylviaHubbard.com. So that's the whole website. And then if they want to read the story, what we do is I'll put it out free up to a point, and then if you've already paid for it, or if you're a member of the site, like people pay like $3, I think it's $3 a month they pay. So they get access to the past stories, any of the past stories, plus they get a password to that current story. And then once it goes private, and it'll be a private post, they would just use that password to get into the story. So usually it's about I'll say the crap hits the fan moment, and then I'll be like, oh, we're going private, and everybody
Mhm.
will run over and buy a membership so they can
Mhm.
finish reading the story. And that's how I do it. Now, the bonus part is that I allow WordPress to do ads on my site. So what happens is that all the visitors that I do get paid for that. So that's
Oh.
kind of like how I get paid. So the plan that I do buy from WordPress, um, that it allows, it just pays for itself every year. Just if I do one, even if I just do one story a year, it literally pays for itself, the whole plan.
Okay.
So I'm able to run a fully functional website all on its own. And all I do is do a story. So if I do more than one story a year, that's kind of like cherry on top of a sundae, I guess you can
Mhm.
say.
Mhm.
So that's how I kind of work that platform. I like it because when I do hit, publish on the blog post, it goes out to my Instagram, and it goes out to my Facebook page, um, and it goes out to my LinkedIn. I
Mhm.
used to have Twitter, but I don't have Twitter anymore. But it used to go out there. So when I hit publish, it goes out to that. And then I can easily pull into my MailChimp like once a week where we do an annual, we do like a weekly thing. So that, this book is out and it's live, and that's what we're doing. So
Mhm. Mhm.
that's how I kind of set it up. Um, where it's comfortable for me because then I can keep track of the story. I can put it in its own category, and then they can easily read the story. No matter where you come in the story, you go to the main story page, and usually what I do is like I'll have like I'll either have my friend's daughter, or I'll go in and I'll just update the links that I sent out that week. So anybody comes into the story, they can immediately just jump into the story no matter where we are. So
Mhm.
that's how I kind of set it up. And it's because I started there in the beginning, and it's just like I don't feel like making up another website. You know, when writers get comfortable, we're just like, you know what? Do I have to move? Do I really have to move?
I just went through that with Mailchimp. I just went through that with them. I had to move, but I didn't want to. Yeah.
Right. It's just the technical stuff. You can throw it in the trash because I just want to write. Just don't make it difficult. So I kind of like, I'm set in my ways. And even my husband, who's a software designer, he's like, okay, I can make your own site and stuff. And I'm like, but you don't have this dashboard. You don't, you
Yeah.
can't do this
Yeah.
dashboard like WordPress does this. And I know where everything is. I can just go click, click, click. And
hmm
then I have to look. And I don't want to look. I
Because
don't.
a lot of those other websites, depending on where you go, they make things so
Mhm.
difficult.
Right. Right. And I don't want that. I don't want to have to deal with that. And I know that's terrible to say, like, okay, you should be able to, just it's a learning curve. I don't want a learning curve while I'm trying to write. I'm already learning curve and two protagonists, a villain, and I'm trying not to get shot by both of these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in trauma right now. We
Right. I agree.
so yeah. So yes. Okay, so we got through the platform, and people can and mention your website, mention the Substack again, so people can find it while they're listening to us.
Just put in my name, Antwaine Floyd Sr. AntwainFloydsr. Just put that in,
Right,
and everything will pop up for me where I'm at.
right. And you can go into his Instagram right now, and you should be able to go over it and check everything out that he's writing as well. So let's go into the horrible thing about marketing the story. The thing, right? I know. I saw that breath. I saw that breath. Like, yeah. Okay, so let's just, put it out there. How do you try to get readers to your stories?
Okay, I will be honest. I am horrible at this. I am horrible.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, yes, I
No
am horrible.
judgment zone
So,
here. No judgment
so
zone.
only thing I try to do. Well, I've tried a lot of different stuff. So I've
Hmm.
tried the Facebook ads. I've tried the Instagram ad. I've
Hmm.
tried the Amazon ads. I've tried um what else have I tried? Um emails. I'm being consistent with my emails. Um what else have I tried? That's pretty much it. But now all
Okay.
I do now is try to be consistent with this new, like I said, with this new Substack that I have,
Hmm.
and really taking the time to cultivate my email list and
Hmm.
be consistent with posting on. I use like three social media sites, I believe. I use
Hmm.
Substack, Threads, Facebook. So I try to
Hmm.
be consistent with posting on those,
Hmm.
and that way I know that being consistency is key. So that way people, I am I have a habit of this as well. If you do something over and over and over and over again, people get used to it, and then
Hmm.
when you stop, it doesn't take long for them to cut you off.
Right.
So
Right.
so so consistency is my thing. I'm just being consistent with. I have my stuff planned and
Hmm.
like you said, pre-scheduled.
Right.
So that's just what I've been doing so far.
That's
And
cool. Yeah. I'm pretty much the same way. I did try a lot of things. Now, what happened with me is like, okay, so I was doing it from 2009, and then I had a huge fire in 2013. So I kind of like dropped off. Like everything just had to stop because we were homeless. I had to take care of the kids' needs and things like that. And then once I got back on, trying to get back on the horse again, and people don't know how difficult it is to just, jump back. There were two unfinished stories that because I was jumping in it, like, I was doing like double dutching the stories and stuff. So I jumped out and I had two unfinished stories. So like you said, once you stop the consistency, people cut you off and then that's it. So that's what happened. And so like I had to start slowly building back up again. And it was more or less just kind of like the same way. First it was the Facebook ads, then it was like I was like, oh, this is ugly. And then it was more, then I tried Instagram. I had a little success with the TikTok ads. What I found was either doing collaborations with other authors who were doing other stories, or going in and supporting one author for her launch, and then she would support me, for a launch. And then that kind of worked out a little bit, where, we would do like swaps. We would do newsletter swaps or something like that. The newsletter swaps have worked out really good, where I go and look for authors who will say, hey, I got newsletter features coming up. Does anybody want to be in there? And I'll look out for that. And then I'll be like, okay, yeah, let me take it here. So then I can get in yours and then you can get in mine. And then that works out a lot, where a lot of readers will click through to find out, especially like if you have a good book, a book cover and a book title, people will jump in there and say, oh, okay, let's see what this is about. And I'll usually get a good hook and a call to action, even if I haven't even started the story. I'll do that, and then I'll start sending it out towards, people who are doing newsletter swaps with me. And that has worked out better. The collaborations and the swaps have worked out better than just paying for ads in most cases, that I found out. As I'm rebuilding. Now, when Kindle Vella was going on, that was nice because, man, I made some nice money with Kindle Vella. And then once it dropped off, it was amazing because I still kept the readers. They were still following the stories and stuff like that. And so now I'm like kind of sort of like rebuilding again to draw them, if they were on Amazon reading the stories, now I'm drawing them back to my website again. So let's get this going. Let's get the stories going here again. And that's why I went on this journey of like, what happened to like all the writers that were doing serials? They just disappeared, and I know they didn't disappear. So that's been my search now, is just finding writers. Especially like us who do crime and suspense and, the behind the scenes. So if people don't pay attention to that genre anymore, I want to bring their stories to light and say, hey, we still got these writers out here doing these serials that we all can support. So that's kind of like been my deal. But yeah, collaborations have worked a lot better than ads. And of course, just being consistent.
I never took advantage of the Kindle Vella.
Really?
Yeah,
Boy,
I never did.
You could have bought at the rate I was going, I'd have bought two houses. It was like nice. It was like, what? You're paying me what? And my husband was like, what? It was like, yeah. So
I wonder why they got rid of it.
Well, once people started seeing like the paychecks of the people who were really doing stuff, everybody started going in, and then it was like people started using AI. Then people started using fraud. They were, copying stories over stories, and it was like then it just got, the bad apples kind of made it like unappealing, especially for readers once they figured out like this is the same story you posted. Like people are like reposting the same story over and over and over again. And you're like, okay, so yeah, it was kind of weeding out bad apples, and then the disinterest of readers. And people don't realize that serial readers are different from book readers. Those are two different audiences that you're trying to appeal. So, they don't just necessarily, just because they're reading your serial, want to buy your book. Some people just like that kind of soap opera-ish type of book where, oh my God, what's going to happen next? and they
Mm-hmm.
get to be there while the writer is writing the book. That's their, that's their drug of choice. Whereas the
Mm-hmm.
book reader, they're like, oh no, I can't do it. I want to know the whole story is done. And I've even had, members like that on my site where they're like, okay, here's my money. Let me know when the book is finished. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm fine. I'll take your money because I know I'm gonna finish the book, or I'm gonna do something, to make sure that you get your money's worth in any case possible. But yeah, I did it and it was really fun. But now that I pushed everybody over to Amazon, I'm bringing them all back to my website so we can start back over. And it's a process, but I'm learning, and like my dad said, learning or earning. So I'm going through the process of learning so then I can earn, and win these readers back. And it is about consistency. It very much is, like you said, it is about consistency and bringing them in and showing them that I'm going to give you this great story and give you a quality experience, and then, make it worth your while. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when it comes with that deep down consistency of making it. And a lot of people think that, you just sit at a typewriter and say, oh, I just, I pulled it out and threw it on the paper. And it's not like that. It's a lot of work, especially serial writing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of work because you're
Mm-hmm.
constantly thinking, okay, where can I cliffhanger this chapter? What am I going to reveal today? What am I writing today?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then fielding all their questions and responses to 6 chapters ago that you can't reveal, that you already know what's going to happen. So
Yeah, because you made a promise, now you gotta keep it.
right,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you can't go back. Now, one question, and this is part of the writing technique. Have you ever been in the story and realized that this story, this journey was not working for you, and you need to pivot, but you've already put down so many chapters? Have you ever had to do that, where you've
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
say, yeah, we're stopping this right here?
yeah. And that doesn't bother me because I don't throw anything away. So I just whoop, copy, cut, and I'll save it for something else. Then I just
So
start fresh.
how do you prepare your readers when you do something like that?
Wait. I'm sorry. So my frame of thinking went to someplace else. I wasn't thinking as
Oh,
far as in the
oh,
context of the short stories. No, I
yeah.
don't do that in the short stories. No. I was thinking in the context of when I write a full length novel. But
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but no.
Yeah. It's easy when you make a mistake in a
Yeah.
foreign novel, yeah. Copy paste over here and then let's
Yeah. No, I have not done that. I have not. I haven't had that issue. No,
well,
no.
yeah, I had that issue. It was kind of like once I like the name Christopher, and I want to use it eventually, but I hate typing it. So I'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this character Christopher this time," and then I realize like why I hate that name.
Mhm.
So I've had to like tell the readers. I think I was in chapter 12, and I was like, you know what? We changed the main protagonist male's name. I think I
People.
changed it to, did I change Dwayne or did I Dwight? I had to change it to Dwight because I was like, it's not working for me. I don't know if you've ever typed Christopher. It's horrible. It's
The people get
horrible.
mad.
They didn't get mad. Now then it was the time where I I realized I wasn't getting, I look at my stats, and we'll get into that in just a second. I looked at my stats and I saw that a lot of people were dropping off after chapter 2. They would get into the book, I would get like brave chapter 1, but chapter 2, and then they wouldn't get past chapter 3. Like very little was going to chapter 3. And then I introduced, the mail came in kind of like at the end of chapter 3 to chapter 4. But I would see the drop off at chapter 2. I wasn't seeing people just keep going. And so I was like, that bothered me. By that time, I was maybe in I think chapter 18, 19. It was really high up there, and it just bothered me. And I was like, I need to go and reassess and find out what's wrong with chapter 2 or what I can do to improve it. And after about a whole weekend, I took a whole weekend off the story, literally, and went back and analyzed it. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And I popped out on Monday, and I was like, here's what happened. Here's what had happened. And I was like, you guys can go back, and I have redone chapters 2 all the way to 19. You guys can go back and read, but from this point on, we're going from this premise that I added in chapter 2. So I just went back, revamped chapter 2. You know, I had to go and do some things in 3 and I think 6 more chapters, you know, but I was like, okay, I had to do this in order to give the story some because it wasn't, I could feel it wasn't carrying on. Would I say that messed me up? No, it didn't. Actually, once the new readers would come in and read it, they got through to 3. I saw them going on to 3. I saw the analytics were moving better and more fluidly from there. Did readers come back? I'm not sure. But it was still a nice finish. It was still a nice crowd by the time I was done, and it wasn't really a big hiccup. Some people some people would send me off, well, I'm confused and blah, blah, blah. And then, I was there like customer service. Okay, you missed this part in chapter such and such because I added, and I even had like a sentence. I did add to this story, blah, 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 blah. So, kind of catch them up. And it was kind of like that. That threw it off just a little. But once, everybody caught up by chapter 30, we were on the road to, okay, now I know where we are. Let's go.
So
it was. Go ahead. No,
I was going to say, once all of that was done, did any of the people come to you and say thank you?
Well, they said they enjoyed the story because the fact that they stayed so long, I knew they were enjoying it. And, and then I had a twist because it was a really dark kink. So I think they were just waiting for that to happen. They knew what was going to happen and they were just kind of waiting for that to happen. And I came correct, with it. So they were happy about that. That plot point didn't ruin what their expectations of the story was. So that was a good thing, but it was like a little bit stressful for me because I was, when you have to do that, it's like kind of like you're in front of the audience and you're performing and the music stops and you're like, okay, what do I do?
Awkward.
I was like, this is not working. It's not going to. Once I took that moment and that weekend, realized I was like, this is not going to work. The setup won't work. This won't work. Everything is going to fail. And I was like, either I could go back and fix it or just say, you know what? We're shucking this story and starting a new one. And that was the choice I had to make. So I decided to do it this way. And I've heard other authors doing it the other way. They'll just shuck the story and say, hey, we're putting this on the back burner, and then we're going with this new story. And they say, like, they'll say about how, readers, like you said, they get mad at you. You could lose, and I didn't want to lose what I had, and then to be able to make it up. So, yeah. It was either shuck the story or try to fix it, and I did the fix, and it worked out for me. I felt it worked out, and it carried on to, like, they went to see, because this was a brother series, so they went on to see the next brother. What was the next brother doing? So it kind of worked out. So it was scary. It was scary. Yeah. It was real scary because you're like, oh crap, oh crap. Oh, crap. That's all I was saying.
They say the best things in life is on the other side of fear.
Right. Right. After crying, bleeding, suffering, sleepless nights. They don't tell you about that after fear is that little prickly point, and then
Yeah.
that. So, dude, let's get into the technical part of all of this. Do you watch your analytics, and has this helped like your book sales in terms of when you do these stories? Has it helped with that and so forth?
Yes, I do look at my analytics, but once again, just like I said with the marketing portion of it, I am horrible at it. Just like you spoke
Oh.
before, I have seen like the first couple of chapters, my numbers will be high, and then
Mm-hmm.
after the weeks they just start, what I'm saying, dwindling. I might have a
Yeah.
spike back up again, and then it go down again. But I I think uh what's the word I'm looking for? I was gonna say stubborn, I guess, because I've never even considered going back and tweaking anything like you said you did. I just look at it like, okay, this is done. This is what it is. I never thought about going back to see where I could have messed up at to maybe critique it myself and see where I can
Right.
improve it to try to draw those
Well,
people back in.
yeah, because I kind of knew that I wanted to take this book and make it, into a published book. So I knew that, and like I said, it was a series. So it was like this seven found brothers. They were a found family, and when I realized, where the drop off was or what was wrong with the story, I knew it wouldn't work for the other brother books. So I was like, if I don't do it now, when I do the other six books, it's going to be a lot of explaining to do. So if I just do it now instead of I couldn't shuck the book. I knew I couldn't
Hmm.
because I wanted to write the other books. So it was like, okay, I couldn't shuck the book, so I had to kind of like swallow. And I don't if you are a reader out there and you're listening, this is very hard because it's kind of like what we put down is like set in stone. We're like, I ain't changing nothing. I ain't changing it. Too bad. So sad.
Hmm.
But it was like
Hmm.
I kind of had to swallow my pride and say, you messed up, and you need to go and tell everybody you messed up, and fix it. And then that's what I did because I knew I couldn't shuck it because the other six books depended upon that. So yeah, yeah, and this book was all I knew this book was already gonna hit 200,000 words. I already knew that. I was already into the book so much that I was like, yeah, this is gonna easily get me to 200,000. We
I've
ain't even
never
playing.
been I've never been a word count person. I
Yeah.
just I just write until it's done. I've never like to this day I cannot tell you what my word count are for books that I've actually published.
Really? I only know word counts like at the end. Like at the end it's like or when once I hit 100,000, I'm just like, okay, well, you know what? We're in it right now. Especially like if I'm at 100,000 and we just hit Art 2, I'm like, oh yeah, this is easily gonna become a big baby. We swaddling this with a sheep because this baby's big.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I only pay attention to it like after I get 100,000, and by then I'm kind of like, okay, I know I know pretty much. And then since I know I don't go over 3,000 words a chapter, it's kind of like in the back of my head, I'm multiplying stuff, and I'm like, okay, so I'm at chapter 40, 3,000. Yeah, we in it. We got a big word count coming up.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of like, and I guess because I've been doing this for so long, you kind of like, okay, yeah, you can kind of guesstimate. Yeah, this is gonna be this is never going to paperback because this will this will break me. This will break me. So then, yeah, I kind of like, yeah, pay attention near the end when I'm like killing myself, like, oh, that was a good book, but it's too big. And do I break it up? Because then I have to figure out, okay, once I publish it, and we'll get into that in a second. once you publish it, you know, put it up on KU, or do you publish it, or do you, you know, just leave it up on your site and stuff like that? So let me ask you. So we got into the marketing, and now we're going to get into the publishing. Once you finish the stories, what do you do with them?
So I have so I have stories that I have written from
Mm-hmm.
previous websites that I posted on, and to
Mm-hmm.
be honest, I have just closed them down. I have never published them. I just closed
Oh,
them down, and um, I don't know. I've just never thought about publishing any of them. But the one that I'm working on now, um, um, it's something kind of different though, and I
mm-hmm.
don't even know if most people would be into it. So I can't remember her name. No, I can't remember her name. Lisa Jewell. That's her name.
Okay.
Lisa Jewell. She's a big crime fiction author.
Mm-hmm.
But Marvel did a deal with three different authors to turn their comic book characters into crime fiction novels, like set into the
Oh,
real world.
wow.
Yeah, so I
Uh-huh.
read one of them. She was the first one. I read hers. Hers was about Jessica Jones, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was pretty good. I read hers. And then this author named Alex Segura. He's supposed to come out with
Mm-hmm.
one this year, I think, or maybe next year. He's going to be about Daredevil. And then they
Okay.
have one coming. I don't know when it's going to be, but they have one coming with S.A. Cosby. And
Oh, yeah, I like him.
he's gonna do Luke Cage. So
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
yeah, yeah. So that gave me an idea. I wanted to do my own.
Okay.
I have, but I've been so it's more of a fan fiction thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I blended a bunch of different characters together, and well, I don't mean blend them together, but I put them together in the same world. And
Uh-huh.
I've been. It's a crime fiction story, and it's set in the real world, and that's something I've been releasing on my Substack as well. So
Oh, that's cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
so I
I
can't.
like that.
So I can't. I went through that big long story to say that I actually cannot publish that one.
It'll just stay probably on your Substack.
Yeah, yes, and
Okay.
I think I'm kind of. If I do start selling it, I think I'm kind of skirting. Uh. Uh.
Yeah,
uh
some copyright issues.
yeah. Yeah.
But that's well, that's understandable because I did like a Cosby, not a Cosby, a Tyler Perry fan fiction. So I know I'll never be able to sell that. And then I did it was another author that I admired, like Johanna Lindsay. She wrote historical fiction, and I turned one of her books into like a contemporary book. And it took the same premise and everything. And it took me a long time before I felt like, okay, maybe I stepped outside a little bit so I could sell. So it's kind of like I took the premise and then I wrote a contemporary thing about like what she did, like what would happen if that happened in contemporary times. And then I did it, and then I did a sequel to it. But I'd sell the sequel, but I give the first book away for free. So it's kind of like I don't want to step on nobody's toes and be like, oh, you stole her work. No, it was more of a fan. It was an ode to her, and it was a fan fiction because I kind of wondered, well, what happened in real life if that happened in a contemporary world? And it was kind of like, but then when the Twilight thing came out, and I was like, wait, she stole hers. She stole hers. 50 Shades of Grey was off of Twilight. And I was like, wait a minute. I think I can. And then when I did it, it was like, okay. So I see the line drawn. So I understand that. I know, like, the other thing that I did for Tyler Perry thing, fan fiction, I'll never do it because I'd pulled the character straight from his thing and then made a new story about it around what he did. So I'm like, yeah, that'll just
so
stay.
So
Go
when you
ahead.
say that, I've wondered about that as well because I have ideas for stories that I want to do for characters from
Hmm.
movies, like you just said. Like I
Right.
don't know, see, I don't know as far as the. I guess I probably could not do it. It had to be a fan fiction. You remember the movie
Right.
um Taraji P Henson had Proud Mary?
Yeah. 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 I like that. I don't know why people didn't like that one. I like that
And
one.
so do I. I and people get mad at me when I say I thought it was better than John Wick. But maybe I just like to
It
see
was
black
kind
people. Maybe I just like to see
of
black people
right.
on screen. That's just me. But I wanted to do a prelude to show how she got there.
Oh, yeah, and you can definitely do in my in my honest opinion, I think you can definitely do it. If you have to just say it's fan fiction and go from there. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a I say do a labor of love, apply it and then go ahead and because it it really does help in terms of stretching your writing capabilities. Number one, and that's the most fun about it is that you'll find yourself when you're doing things like that, really stretching your capabilities and saying, "Oh my God, I can use this for another story too," and finding
Hmm.
ways to get better at your craft. And then number two, it gives your readers, you can actually invite new readers to say, hey, I'm a fan of the Proud Mary, world. What did he come up with? And then introduce them into your works. So I'm a component for it. Like try it out. Um, and go from there because I mean you have no problem with doing something for free. A lot of authors
Well,
be like,
yeah,
oh well, I don't want to put
yeah.
it out because I can't sell it. But this is not about that. It was about you building your skills, doing something for love, and just putting it out there. I mean, even in when you think about what's his name, Weir, when he came up with The Martian, he literally gave that whole book for free away. Even after the paperback hit New York Times, to this day he still gives that book away for free because it was just a project of love and
Hmm.
of him putting something out there that he loved to write. So do it.
Do you ever do you ever play with public domains?
I don't, even though that would be fun. I thought about it. Um, yeah, I thought about it, but I don't. But yeah, I thought about it.
You
I
you
have
should
thought
look
about
into it.
it.
You should look into it. I've been dabbling in it, and
Uh-huh.
even if you don't use anything in there, some of the ideas that they had back in the day will spark new ideas because they had some
I will.
interesting characters back then.
Yeah, I think I will. Because I mean, I've read a lot of times when I do see the new public domain list, and I'll go through it, and I'll be like, "Oh, I read that. I read that. I read that. I read that." I'm like, "Oh my God, this is available." I'm so old, but it's like, but it's like, yeah, I see it, and I'm like, that'd be cool. And but you know what? The one story I wish they will make it for public domain. I don't know if you've ever, the guy who wrote Tarzan, he had a character called the Mucker. And it was like this really horrible, morally gray guy who was like, he went out for justice for people, but he did it in a horrible way. Um, and I was like, that would be a character, and it came up for public domain, and I was like, oh, that would be a nice character, like bring in the 21st century to, okay, how could he justifiably like kill everybody?
Why not do it?
Huh? What'd
You
you
should do
say?
it. You should
I
do it.
probably will. I probably will, because it seems like something fun to just challenge myself with. And like I said, you should, because it does challenge you, and it makes you fall back into why you started this. That's what
Hmm.
I can pretty much say when you're writing fan fiction. It pretty much helps you fall back into, okay, this is why I like doing this. because it's so
Mm-hmm.
much fun. And the readers will see that on paper when they do it too.
Cause
So
I
definitely.
know, not to dig too deep into this, but um, I do have one character that I want to write for. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Moriarty,
Oh, yeah.
but I reimagined him as a black man,
Mm-hmm.
um, middle age, and he's an anti-hero instead
Yeah.
of a straight up. Well, I didn't phrase it that way. When I came up with my synopsis, I phrased it as an anti-villain.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
let me know when you do it, because I'll probably be just to see how you brought them to life. That would be so cool. Yeah, it's
yeah.
different. So definitely. But let everybody else know how they can get in touch with you and the story you're working on now, a little bit about the story and where they can start reading it.
So, like I said, you can find me at Antwaine Floyd Sr. Just put that in. You'll find me on any social media platform there. To find my stories, you can find me on Substack, um, Antwaine Floyd Sr. And the story that I have going right now is the the I'm sorry, I'm going blank. The
That's all right.
the story about my fan fiction, my fan fiction
Right.
story. I'm sorry, my fan fiction
That's all
story. I
right.
have one. It's called The Infinite Divide, and I release one every Monday, and you can check that out. Sign up for it, and it'll be delivered to you every Monday.
And I want to thank everybody for joining us. And I appreciate you taking the time out and putting up with our technical difficulties, Antoine. It's been great talking to you. And I wish you all the blessings on all your other stories and the one you have going on now. If you haven't signed up for mine, it's coming up in September 1st, and it's called Her Substitute Husband, His Brothers. And you can join me on the writing journey. You can join us both on our writing journey. So I hope you sign up for both of our lists so then you can check out our stories. So good night. Thanks, Antoine. Bye.
Thank you very much.